Good deal. Hope everybody's doing all right. Appreciate you guys hanging out until the wee hours here. I'm going to try to get to my PowerPoint, and I got a little bit of video. So what I wanted to do real briefly for you guys is kind of just talk about how we specifically talk pass rush with our guys. And I wanted to give a simple, can you guys see the PowerPoint right there?
Yes.
I hope.
Yep, we got it.
Good. I wanted to give just a simple deal that's applicable and replicable for you guys to use. Something that I thought is just a real simple concept, and it kind of oversimplifies edge rushing. I'm going to talk specifically about edge rushers since I work primarily with the outside backers, but something that I think just makes sense that you can teach, that you can come up with a million different ways to drill, and it still makes sense for you guys. So I've got my email address on there. If you want me to, I can send you a copy of the PowerPoint, maybe send you a couple of the clips from cut up that I've got that I thought might make some sense for you guys to look at. The first thing we talk about, obviously, is we talk a little bit about where the defense needs me, where's the pressure coming from. I know a lot of people talk quite a bit about having a plan in the pass rush. Kevin Browning is one of the premier guys that teaches pass rush, and he's obviously been in North Carolina for forever. And he thinks that it's all about reaction. And I tend to agree more with him, right? You can have a plan and you end up giving a kid paralysis by analysis, in my opinion. So what I try to do is I try to come up with replicable drills that those guys are going to see, and a very simple schematic approach to those guys so they can just see something and react to it, right? Is it always going to be 100% accurate? No, probably not. They're going to end up in some awkward situations. Yeah, probably. But I think more often than not, they're going to find themselves in a situation where they can at least have a clean thought process. Think like simple minds make for fast feet, in my opinion. Right? And anytime we're talking football, if you've got a simple thought process, you can play fast, right? So we talk about where the defense needs. I mean, part of your plan is understanding where you fit within the side of the defense. Am I on the opposite side of a pressure? Where's my landmark on the quarterback? One of the big things we talk about with our guys is we've got really 5 different landmarks on the quarterback. There's the outside cage rushers, the inside cage rushers, and if we base it primarily out of a 3-down look, if there's a 5-man zone pressure or cover 1 type scheme, there's going to be somebody who's going to be the midline rusher. We don't talk about gaps when we talk about rushing a quarterback. We talk about landmarks on the quarterback. Where's he going to try to escape to? Who's got the escape lane? Are we trapping the quarterback? You know, all the different, are we trying to get him off of the spot, move him one side? They like to throw to his right, not to his left. We try to look and attack it from that standpoint. So we want those guys to understand where in the rush they fit. Am I an inside cage? Am I an outside cage? Am I the midline? Which also lends itself to the next slide so that I know we teach them very basics about protection, very, very basic concepts about protection. Where's the slide? Where's the man side, right? So I know if for instance, I'm a midline rusher in this deep, can you guys see where I'm kind of pointing this arrow, right? If I'm the midline rusher here and I get the slide at me, I know I can bang back across the slide of the center, right? If I'm an inside cage rusher, I know I've got to probably just work either the A or the B gap off of the guard, and I can't cross the center because now I'm going to end up with an unbalanced rush. So we give those guys real simple thought processes, and really outside cage, inside cage, midline. We're just talking about outside eye, head up, and straight down the midline of the guy, right down the middle of the formation. So however we get there that's where we need to end up, which I've also thought simplifies it for those edge guys. When I talk about it in a second, when that guy goes and sets a quick horizontal pass set on those guys, the biggest issue those edge rushers run into is they take that quick step back to the inside, but then they never go back to stack the tackle. Right, just like a receiver running a fade route and goes to work and stacks a DB, it's the same thing when you're attacking the tackle on the pass rush. That guy quick sets you back to the outside really fast, and you want to take that counter move back to the inside because he's past his set line, right? We want to get it back. We want to get our rush back to vertical so we can get to the outside cage of the quarterback. So I tell that guy when he gets a fast horizontal set, and I'm going to show you a clip of that shortly, and we counter back inside right now, we want to make sure we go work to stack that guy back up, just like a receiver running a fade route on a DB. All right. Right. I've talked about this a little bit. Most people say have a plan. Our plan is to rep a really simple thought process over and over and over and over again so that it just becomes reactionary for those guys on the field. And I think Jim said it before, right? A simple plan with a fair amount of adjustments to it so that guys have a simple, clean thought process. and they don't have to be complicated. I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit, or two things. One, and you guys have probably all heard this before, but it's just, I think it's applicable across any level of football. There's the set line, right? And the set line to me is that line from your outside foot of the edge rusher to really the upfield shoulder of the quarterback. So that line's probably drawn a little bit wide right there. And then there's the spot. That spot is 4 yards behind the outside foot of the tackle, right? And truthfully, for edge rushers, everything starts with speed. Speed, 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 speed. Inside rushers, it may start with more of a power move and then counter back to the other way. But when we want to be on the edge, we've got to work with speed. If we get to that, if we beat the tackle to the spot, if we beat him to that 4-yard landmark, he's really got no chance. The only thing the quarterback now can do is step up and step out, step up to the right, step up to the left, and try. But now we're getting the quarterback off his spot and make him uncomfortable. Again, realizing that in rushing the quarterback, there's a million different ways to affect the quarterback. We can sack the quarterback. We can get the quarterback off the spot. We can flush him out of the pocket. We can hit him right after he throws it. We can attack the throwing arm of the quarterback. There's a million different ways to affect the quarterback. That's really what we're trying to get done in terms of pass rush. How can you affect the quarterback, right? But this race to the spot is really the ultimate race that matters for those guys. It's the race to 4, right? And when we get to that 4-yard spot, we want to react to the stimulus that we're given at that spot, right? So this set line becomes it's an extremely important concept in what we talk to those guys about. This set line is, as I get to this spot, is that tackle below the set line? Is he on the set line, or is he beyond the set line? Those are the 3 different stimuli. You can break it down even further than that, but from a basic perspective, is he below the set line, on the set line, or above the set line, right? Because that's going to determine what your reaction is going to be, right? And your speed off of the edge is going to be everything that sets that back up, right? If that tackle stays below the set line here, and hopefully you guys can see that, we want to continue our race, our speed rush series towards the outside, whether it's long arm, chop, swim, whatever it's going to be, whatever your athletic ability allows you to do. We want to continue our race to the quarterback. If that offensive tackle sets beyond the set line, now is when we got to go with a long arm back to the inside pec and counter back underneath to the depth of the quarterback, right? That offensive tackle, you see it time and time again. We've got speed rush, we've got a speed rush, we've got a speed rush. So now all of a sudden he's kick sliding hell bent for breakfast. And then we counter back underneath because he's gotten beyond the set line at that point. But we literally physically draw a tape mark on the turf in the practice facility, and we have people standing there holding hand shields, practicing their kick slides, and in relationship to his body on that set line. Where is he below it? Is he above it? Is he on it? And where is his body lean once he gets to that set line? So like I talked about before, if that offensive tackle, right, if he never gets to the spot, we beat that guy to the spot, we're just going to continue on with our speed series. The club rip, the swipe, the chop, all of those things. If that tackle gets to the spot, but all of a sudden you know he's off balance, right? You know he was hauling ass to get back to the spot, right? And it's all he could do to get there. Now we want to be able to attack his inside pec because that's going to be his weak shoulder. We want to attack his inside pec with a long arm. Perhaps it's going to be a club, right? Now, if that tackle gets to the spot with good balance, that's when you're going to have to go to work. Probably going to have to go speed the power at that point, because all you can really do, if that tackle is really good, and I'll show you a clip of that, I think is in here, right? If that tackle gets to his depth, if he gets to the spot right about at or earlier than you do, right? And he's got a good sense of balance. His feet he's on the inside steps, his insteps, his footwork, he's balanced up. Then your best bet is all you can really hope to do now is collapse the pocket on the quarterback, right? Get your long arm back to speed the power. Now, if he sets beyond the set line, this line right here, as you get to the spot, right now is when you want to look to be able to counter back under. You can swat, you can potentially spin back underneath, or you can work any swipe moves back under. So what I thought I would do is if I can get this thing to work the right way, what I thought I would try to do then is I've got, one more time here. Whoops. I will get this to you guys, screen share. I've got some clips. I apologize for everybody from back home in Wisconsin, right? Because that's where I grew up. That it's Vikings clips. I apologize because this guy is very similar body type to what I'm on with. So I get it, and I apologize. I'll have a Miller latest to rectify my situation. All right. But as we look at it right here, right, number 99 is going to be the guy that I'm going to talk about probably more often than not, right? This guy right here, out here on the edge. And what I think is important is as we look to see that where that spot's going to be, what's this guy's angle in relationship to where the tackle gets to as he gets to that spot. So again, we want to imagine that imaginary, that 4-yard spot depth, 4-yard spot of depth. What I think this tackle does a pretty decent job of getting to the spot, but then once he gets to the engage mark, right, you can see him take his outside foot here and now drops it back below that set line. So now that rusher, right, number 99 from Minnesota, just continues with his long arm series getting to the race, right? That guy got to the set line and all of a sudden he gave it up. So now we just want to continue off of the outside edge with it, right? And again, I don't think any of this is anything revolutionary for anybody. But what I do think is that illuminated for me, this guy had 29 sacks, I think, over the course of the last 2 years. And all he's really good at doing is manipulating this tackle set line. He's really, really good. And he always does it with his third step. His third step, and he's working upfield, as fast as he can possibly run. But if you always watch his third step, he gets that tackle to settle and stay below the set line. And so that guy can just continue on with his speed moves outside. So again, you'll watch it here. Watch his third step as he goes. I believe this is a good clip of it right there, right? 71's working, right? He's getting to that spot. And then 99 just influences that guy just a little bit, gets his hips to flip, and he's able to continue on through with the speed rush move back to the outside and keeps it really simple. Again, I don't know if this is anything revolutionary, but it was illuminating for me. And my guys all the time, and I've had good success with this, I've had bad success, all of those things in between. And really what it depends on is if that guy's got ability to get off of the edge, off the outside fast enough at all. If he can't get off of the edge with any speed, then everything else becomes a little bit more difficult for you guys. And I think it works with whether you're talking about, being in a 3-4 and you've got a true outside backer outside. If you're working out of a 4-down look and you've got a wide 9, it's an obvious passing situation. Right here, this is as simple as it gets, right? The tight end, number 83, never even gets into a decent pass set, right? So it continues on through through the set line. He's going to be working against that guy. So through his outside foot, working to get to the upfield shoulder, the quarterback, right? This guy is just idiocy, in my opinion, to be honest with you. One more look at it again. So right out here with number 99 to our left, as we look at it, again, you can see 71. And this is where I think, again, as we start talking about for different protection schemes, one of the things we try to identify with our guys at outside backer is this tackle one of those guys who likes to punch the 3 technique? Because typically, if one of those tackles likes to punch the 3 technique to help the guard out, it just naturally, it takes them a longer time to get back to the set line and get to the spot. So what we'll try to do is we know that if we're working with the 3 technique or maybe a 4-eye technique, we'll play with the width of that 9 technique or 5 technique, the edge rusher guy, because we now know that if that guy's going to have any threat in the B gap area and he's one of those helper guys, we want to make sure that we're continuing on our path towards the outside edge. But again, he does a great job here on his third step with his inside foot. And again, if you're going to have your inside foot back, right, depending upon which foot's back, it's either going to be, if your inside foot is back, it's going to be your third step. If your inside foot's up, it's going to be your second or your fourth step. Right. But again, I don't think it's anything revolutionary per se. But what I do think is that if it works in the NFL over and over and over again, and I've seen it happen on the college level quite a bit, I think it's applicable to all different levels. So here, right, and this guy does a really good job, right? Obviously, there's a little bit of a cadence mishap going on out here. They jump off sides. People are moving at different levels, but 71 now takes a short set. So again, if that set line is here and we see 71 get outside it, it's got to be a quick counter right back underneath, right? But as you counter it, you want to get back up so that you're stacking that tackle, because I think I heard Coach Sabo talk about it earlier. If we go inside on that guy, he's just going to try to bury us right now. So in order to avoid that, we want to dip and rip it and get ourselves back up to vertical so that guy's got no surface area to lean on as we come back underneath. And again, if we're going to be that outside cage rusher, our landmark has to be here. It also helps if you have those 4-foot long arms like 99's got as well. All right, and I think the last clip right here, I think they try to use the tight end to help out, right, as a little chip and a release kind of guy, working to the second level guy. But then what that ends up doing for the tackles, and I found this to be the case quite often, more often than not, right, with that tackle. Anytime there's that chip player, the outside guy trying to help, whether it's a tight end trying to elongate the edge, it really holds this tackle from getting back. And you can see it here, right? That tackle can't get a proper kick slide in because the tight end's in the way. So now he's below the set line the entire time, right? And more often than not, just a simple ass speed rush and understanding your body and your and his body in relationship to this line is going to be of the utmost importance in terms of being an effective and consistent pass rusher. Right? It's all about getting to that race to 4 and then reacting to the stimulus that you're getting at this spot right here, whether that's having to be able to counter back underneath, whether that's continuing on with your speed rush, or that guy's a really good player and he's getting to the spot at the same time you are. Right now, you got to really convert and go to speed to power and just try and collapse the pocket at that point right there. Right? For me, in talking to you guys about this stuff, the thing that I found especially nowadays, in terms of, we're all at home right now, and I had to try to find some drills for my guys to be able to do throughout the course of this, however long we're going to be in this situation, right? I thought, emphasizing those guys working off of the set line, because as I got to North Carolina, I hadn't seen a spring practice yet, so I haven't seen my outside backers run at all, not one step yet, right? So for me, I wanted to give those guys something simple that they can react, they can work with their anybody in their house, whether it's just taking their freaking couch cushion and having somebody work off of a line. Are they going over the top or are they staying underneath the line? That is something that they can easily replicate over and over and over and over again. No different than an inside linebacker taking read steps over and over again. But that is something for those guys that's going to become effective and easier for those guys to work on, day in and day out from that standpoint. I wanted to keep that as short, as clean and as simple and as concise as I possibly can. If you guys have any questions, please seriously feel free to shoot me an email, as I presented that earlier for you guys. I'd love to sit down and shoot the breeze with some of you guys, especially from being from back home, back in the Milwaukee area especially.
Definitely. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate that. That's good stuff. I'd actually never heard of some of that. So as an offensive guy, that's got my the wheels turning in my head thinking about some of that stuff. So good stuff.
Thank you.